Welcome to episode 6 of JGE Talks, hosted by myself, Lee Johnston. And today we have a very special guest, Andrew Dawber, who has arrived in Dubai around a year ago. So Andrew, welcome to the podcast.
Here we go. I'm very excited.
Pleasure to have you on. How's things?
Yeah, really good. Thank you. I'm looking forward to what questions you've all got for me.
Good. Excited? Nervous?
Oh no, excited. Yeah,
Good.
Excited.
So I'm sure you've seen the podcast yourself. You've probably watched every episode. So there's a little bit of a theme. We want to kind of take it back to a little bit about your story prior to getting into Dubai, talking about life in Dubai, which I think it's almost exactly a year now.
Yeah, it is
right?
basically a year, dead on.
Okay,
Yeah.
Perfect. And then we'll discuss a little bit about what you're up to, apart from playing golf.
Excellent.
And then, of course, we'll touch on Jumeirah Golf Estates. So going back to, we're not going to go all the way back, to right when you were a young lad. But before moving out to Dubai and in the UK, I think an interesting kind of part of your life is the fact that you were actually a professional footballer.
Yeah.
Goalkeeper, so I think that still counts as footballer, right?
It does, yeah. I think they always say that they're the craziest.
Yeah.
Which, knowing me, the length of time you probably have, there's probably definitely a few screws loose.
Yes, yeah.
So, yeah, I know I probably don't look it. I was a lot, younger and thinner and fitter then. But I was a professional footballer for about 6 years at a variety of clubs from Fulham, Accrington Crew.
Yeah.
In some respect, it's actually quite similar to the industry in terms of real estate. Like, it's hard mentally in both.
Yeah.
And that it's competitive in both. But also I think that the time when I was in London, that probably has prepared me for coming out here as well, because I did just over a year away from mum and dad, although not as far. Travel and stuff like that still felt like that at a young age. So
when did the football take off, so to speak? I guess you played it from a young age. At what point did you get to kind of a level where you thought that maybe this could be something that actually you were quite good at and it could go further, or did you just play for the enjoyment?
No, I could never play for the enjoyment with my dad. Yeah, your podcast is not long enough for me to talk about stories with my dad. I think when I was probably I signed for Everton when I was like 8.
Okay. That's young then, right?
Very young, yeah, because you don't even know what you're doing at that age or anything like that. So travelling, twice a week, Tuesday, Thursday it was back then. And then when I was about 12 or 13, my dad said, well, why don't you go to a smaller club and hopefully you might climb the ranks.
Yeah.
And my mum and dad at that time were then taking me 3 times a week to Accrington, which from Wigan after a day driving for probably an hour and 10, and it's cold up there, like you are up north.
Yes.
It's cold, and my dad's just stood there, and I just think, what incredible people.
Yeah.
And then I kind of started training with the first team quite early, which can happen when you're a goalkeeper because you can sort of get used. I think it was just evident that I was doing really well at a very young age with grown professionals. So it kind of escalated very, very quickly to starting a scholarship for when I was 16, and then basically started the season as the second choice at 17, and then I found out the second game of the season that I was going to play in the cup.
Wow.
Which was a very strange feeling to see a name on the team. You're like, right, just let you know you're playing. So the whole of the Monday night I was very nervous. But it kind of just made big news because at 17 for a goalkeeper, because every goalkeeper's always old.
Okay.
They always go for experience, and it's kind of a known thing.
And which team was this that you were playing?
This was at Accrington.
Okay. Yeah.
And to then say you've made your professional debut at 17, it just naturally got people talking, I presume.
And this was in the FA Cup?
No, this was in the is it Paint Trophy? So it's the small
one. It's even
one.
bigger.
It's probably it's one down from Champions League. But I did play in the FA Cup. The FA Cup was against Lincoln, but that was when I was much older. Okay. So this one, I was 17. I got man of the match. I hope that's in the clip. And they actually didn't even know if they could give me the champagne.
Too young.
Yeah, because I wasn't old enough to drink. So they were like, do we not do it? I was just, come on, give me the bottle. Let me just go back in the change rooms and get on with it. Like I'm buzzing, Just stood outside. And that was against Morecambe. And from then, a few trials, Liverpool, United. I did say Liverpool then, I'll admit they were a good club. And it just took off. Yeah. Probably could have done better, to be fair.
Obviously, it kind of happened, as you said, at quite an early age. Mm-hmm. Did that help? Did it hinder in terms of the career to kind of be so young and almost thrown in at that point, or
you know what? It's a really good question. I mean, it was a very different life because
Yeah.
my mum and dad were always, I don't like saying the word strict, but they just understood discipline if you want to achieve that. So, you know, I did have sort of bedtime, 9 o'clock, and if I wasn't there, my dad's ringing me going like, where are you?
Yeah.
You don't drink, you don't go out, you don't do any of those things that people, you know, when they leave high school seem normal, traveling around the country at 17 on coaches and staying over on a Friday night for a game on a Saturday to Plymouth and Portsmouth and Torquay, you know, it was different to what a lot of people were doing. So I would say that I kind of moved away from normal life because you don't keep in touch with your high school friends at the best of times, never mind when you're traveling away and you don't do anything. So I've only really kept the one exceptionally close friend back at home, my best mate at home. And other than that, you kind of just lose touch.
And I guess a lot of, you mentioned it before in terms of what you're doing now, but quite a lot of learning through, probably not thinking about it at the time, you're just playing football, right? But when you look back, you feel like actually going through that career as a professional footballer, there's a lot that has helped you then develop into where you are now, and I guess what you did after football as well. Is that
massively.
Fair to say?
Oh, absolutely massively. I do think that sometimes I sit and watch a game of football and I do think differently to what some people do when they're just shouting at the TV. And I think it was also important to remember that, like, because they're experienced players that I was playing with, it was a job. At that point, when you're 17, you're just like, I'm a professional footballer, I'm doing this, I want to do it, because I wanted to really hit the heights, to be honest with you. But you forget that it is a job.
Yeah.
And you absolutely forget that. And you forget that a lot of players at 30, I mean, I stopped, you know, far too young. But some of the players there, you know, you hit 30, you've done it for 10 years.
Of course, yeah.
And you're like, well, what do you do now? You're a bit old, you know, you're too old for League One or League Two. It's like, what do you do? And you've like got to sort of get like a normal job.
Yeah.
But obviously, it's just as competitive as normal life now and jobs are now, with people coming on trial and who's going to take your place and who's not. It's exactly the same in every field, to be fair. So
it feels very similar to some extent in terms of what you've done. And
absolutely. I mean, especially being a goalkeeper and a second choice goalkeeper on the bench and stuff for the most part. Real estate, I actually do think the similarities between athlete and real estate mentally are so similar. Yeah. It's not what people think on the outside. You know, you look at Instagram, everyone's flying, everyone's in Dubai, absolutely flying in real estate, and everyone's having the best time of their life. But in the reality is, I know very, very few that would be the case. Yeah. And it's the same with people looking at football. You are living the dream, as they say. But are you? If you're injured, you're not enjoying it yet. People don't think about that.
There's ups and downs throughout. The stuff that people don't see behind closed doors. Exactly. They just see you being a footballer, you know, playing games and seemingly enjoying every second of it. And there's challenges behind it. We'll come on to, I guess, you know, at some point that career ended. Before we get to that, you obviously would have had some good times and exciting times. And you mentioned, you know, a couple of, well, one in particular, big club Liverpool, and another club, Manchester United, I think you mentioned. Bigger club. Who I think you quite like. So from previous conversations, I think you did a little bit in terms of the team there and travel and stuff like that. What's a highlight that sticks out for you that maybe people wouldn't know in terms of your football career and stuff that you saw?
I think playing in the FA Cup, just on a personal level, especially from a family level. Yeah. You know, I think my dad has always been able to be like, you know, for his son to play in the FA Cup, when you watch it as a young boy and as a fan.
I bet he tells that story every time there's a FA Cup game.
Yeah, right? Probably, yeah. My son's won the FA Cup. No, I've not. I played a game, Dad, for like, do you know what I mean? But I think, playing with Liverpool and United, I was fortunate enough to train with the first teams on several occasions for both. And to be fair, seeing players that you are just used to seeing on FIFA and on TV, that's, you know, the only time that you're going to associate with those sorts of players. So again, seeing Steven Gerrard, Wayne Rooney, Ryan Giggs, all these players, and you just sat there and you're thinking, what's going on? I can vividly remember one time that they'd done an article about me in the Manchester Evening News, and it was about, Man United are going to sign young goalkeeper, and I was sat and I knew nothing about it. I was having breakfast with Paul Scholes, and I was reading this and I was thinking, what's going on here that I'm reading about me in the training ground in front of Paul Scholes, having a chat like it's normal, and it's very not normal. So there was pinch me moments, and the other memorable ones are probably team do's and team nice out, to be honest with you.
Which are probably not to be shared on this podcast.
Probably won't, Some very good stories,
And then obviously, you know, it did come to an end? Tell us a little bit about that. What was the reason? Is that your own choice? Was it the choice of a certain manager? Was it injury? What made kind of the career divert from football?
I mean, to be honest with you, I like to just say how it is and be honest. I know loads of people always say, oh, I got injured. Yeah, I got injured twice, 2 bad knee injuries, but it was also probably more my fault than the injuries. I probably caused the injuries as well. So, through my own mistakes, you've got to look back and be like, yeah, it's more me than anyone else. And then I just didn't get offered 2 new contracts. I went on trial at another club, which was Macclesfield at the time. Yeah. They were in conference and they actually got promoted that year, to be fair, so it wouldn't have been a bad move. But it was just the money that they offered and the stability at that age. I just kind of went home one day and don't get me wrong, it was horrible, heartbreaking to be like, actually, here at one point I was so close to something and it's nosedived and you are at the bottom. And I was just like, what should I do? And I just spoke to my mum and dad. I was just like, look, it's not, we need to address it. It's not going well. It's not going this. I'm getting older. What am I going to do? You need to live your life. You need to get on with it. You need to find a bit of happiness, start your life. So I think I was about 22, 23. And I was just like, right, I'll call it a day. And I thought, I'll find a job.
So retired young.
Retired young, and then, I have always liked cars. I don't know why. And I do like sales. I just like talking to people and helping. And that's what I actually firmly believe that sales is. It's helping someone with a problem we've not. Because if they've not got the problem, no one can talk you into it. I know we all like to watch The Wolf of Wall Street, but life doesn't work like that. Went into car sales and did that for 7 years. 3 of them as a salesperson, and then just under 4 as a sales manager. Nice. With a team of people.
And still a lot of the skills and the education through football helped with that as well. And then you've also then gone into a new industry and learned.
I would say there was an adjustment.
Yeah,
there was an adjustment with that. Working with colleagues, I think at the beginning, some of the comments and things that I might find funny are probably not something that was in a corporate environment.
Different than a changing room in a football team.
I really struggled with that. Only because I thought it would be about a laugh, or when you are playing a joke or a prank or say a funny comment that might be a bit further down the line. I'd never heard of HR. Like, it's just not a thing that I don't even think it exists in football. I wouldn't have told you who you would if you had a problem like that. So that was definitely difficult. And the set routine was also difficult of sort of, right, this is your day off, that's your day. Not as much, or more structure in a way of, you have to do this, you have to do that, you have to check cars in and speak to this client. And it was just it was very, very different. But I just actually loved it. And I did take off quite quickly, to be fair. I did really well.
You did that for 7 years, kind of post-football?
Yeah, 7 years in total. The last, 3.5 to 4 were me being the actual sales manager. Yeah. So I think at one point there was between 9 and 10 staff underneath, and it was all just about obviously the money that the branch is making, parts, service, helping clients, dealing obviously with customer complaints, training them, supporting them. Because there are a lot of things that go wrong. Yeah,
of course.
Yeah.
So quite a varied role. So that was the role, and then that took you to Dubai. So so as we said at the start, you've literally been here almost a year to the day now. What brought you to Dubai? What was the reason? What was the big driver apart from the blue sky and the sun and the 55 degrees that we're dealing with
very
right
cliche. Had a personal change of circumstance, and I did think to myself for the first time: is the management model? Is it going anywhere in terms of my own happiness? And I came on a golfing holiday with a mate, and it was literally a case of, I think it was day 4 or day 5. We were sat outside, I think it was Dubai Creek, and we'd played here the day before and fell in love with the place ridiculously for a number of reasons, mainly like the hospitality of the staff and whatnot, just felt different straight away. And I said to him, I'm sick of people saying, why don't we do this in life? And we all know those groups of mates, don't we? Why don't we do this? Why don't we do that? And let's do that. And it never happens.
That goes on for years.
Goes on. And I just said to Joe, I said, what are we doing? Why, should we actually do it? Should we say we're going to do something and actually do it? And then so I went home after 5 days and just went, just to let you know, Mum and Dad, I'm going to move to Dubai. And that was that, and sold the house. And I even moved out and the house hadn't even fully gone through or sold yet. Just came up. Yeah, it was literally.
So you'd made your mind up and you went for it. You committed and kind of almost cut all ties to make it, this is your only option, right?
Quite
You're going to make it work.
Yeah. I don't feel like I've got anything holding me anymore at home. Apart from, again, my best friend and my mum and dad, which are always going to be there.
Of course.
So I've not got anything holding me, so why am I not doing it? And I thought at a pivotal age, being sort of 29 at that point, I was like, I'm just going to go and do it. I was very nervous at one point because obviously in the UK, your house process can take many months. And there was a stage towards the end where I was out here and the sale looked like it was going to fall through. And I never thought or factored that in, that like, oh, I'm paying for my apartment, I'm paying for the car, I'm paying for the studio and living in Dubai. And this sale, could actually go through and I might be paying for the house back in the UK as well. Like it was very nerve-wracking. But by that point, I'd already done it. And I was nervous about it, but I managed to do a sale in my first month and then 2 in my second and third. So it did happen quite quickly, to be fair, and I was very grateful for that.
It was the place that attracted you when you first came. You played a bit of golf, saw the sunshine, saw the hospitality, and enjoyed it. And then, but of course, you had to get into work straight away.
Absolutely.
So you came out and you got involved in real estate. Yeah, which is obviously still what you're doing now. So again, was that when you had this idea and vision of moving here? Were you like, because obviously you were working in the motor industry, right? So was that an option, or was real estate just something that you had in mind, or you kind of fell into it? How did that come about?
No, it was quite literally a very close friend was already out here for several years, and it was basically a case of, I've always thought you should do this. Come and do it. You've left it too long anyway, so you're an idiot for not doing it already. Come and do it. And then literally on the Monday when I got back, he'd already lined up the 2 or 3 interviews without me doing anything. Just said, be on a Zoom call at this time and that time, and I did it, and that was that. So it was literally only real estate, move out here, crack on and see what's what for a number of reasons.
So real estate, professional footballer to real estate, and as you said at the start, like there are a lot of similarities, and I would agree from my not quite professional football career, but like you mentioned, the competitive side of things. I think also being part of a team. There's a lot of different attributes that you learn from the game of football, and probably lots of other sports as well, to be fair. What's been it's a challenging industry, it's a competitive industry.
Yeah, it is, yeah.
What's been your insight so far? It's almost a year, as we say now, in terms of being involved. What's your overall kind of insight so far into the industry of real estate in Dubai?
The one thing I would say, but it's mainly because I was talking about it to someone this morning, so it's fresh in my mind, is that it isn't what people see and think, and I do think that is something that could potentially benefit if it changed. I think there's such a recruitment drive with, I shouldn't say false information, but a very, very small percentage information. They'll post, this person's been out here a month, close this deal for X amount, and I've never met someone who's done that. So I'm sure someone has, but I've never personally met them. And the struggle for 99% is actually real, and it's bigger than what people, lay on. But you're sort of taught that you have to fake it till you make it, or post this and post that. And in reality, it's a lot harder than what people know, because people have already got relationships. People already, there's some genuine people out here, and there's some very good agents. So sometimes you think, well, what gives you the right to just think that you're going to hop on a plane, come out here, and people are going to be like, oh, thank God you're the person we've been missing. Like, it's not going to happen. So that is one thing that I would massively say, that the job is not what it is perceived on Instagram. It's not a thing. And the one thing I've then, on the back of that, learned in JGE more, just confirms it, that the conversations that I've had face to face, not in meetings in the Crafty Fox or anything like that, but on the golf course, that have opened doors, or people that are aware of me, us, and the company because of it, just shows that it's about trust, and it's about a human connection, and also as well, it's just about if you're genuine, and if someone has a situation that you can help with, because again, I also think that people, I know I said at the very beginning about Wolf of Wall Street, I think people think that they're that good that they can make someone sell their home if they don't want. It's an impossibility. If they don't want to sell the home, no one is this good, or there's nothing you can say on a phone that is going to change that. So I just think the other thing that I think we do very, very differently is the fact that we're so normal. And everyone says be different. And I think it's actually a bit sad, but I think we're different because we're normal. Which it sounds so backward. we work so differently.
And I think, obviously the way you approach real estate, and obviously we work together, and it is you're here to help when needed. You're look, you're learning your craft, but for somebody that's been doing it for a year, you are very experienced at the same time, because you've done a lot, you've gone through a lot, you've learned quickly, you've learned a lot, you've taken it on board, and you continue to learn. Like, what you need to do, and you've still got a lot to learn, but you accept that. But the way you approach it, it is very genuine and honest, and it is with a long-term focus, right? And we've discussed this a lot, and I know kind of how you go about the day-to-day. I mean, have you found that different in terms of course, like everybody, like you would say, would like to be this amazing salesperson, and they come in and they sell a villa tomorrow, and they meet the client and the deal happens. Have you found it different in terms of like the process and potentially the challenge of dealing with a long process from maybe meeting someone today on the golf course to maybe not actually doing any business for a year, even longer maybe in some cases, and how that's differed from what you've done in the past?
100%. No, it's a great question. I think the difference with cars, and it was something that I've spoken to, because Joe also came out here, the difference in cars is mad. Like, if you didn't do a deal, if you're an experienced salesperson, you'd like to do between maybe 25 to 30 cars a month. So it's basically a deal a day on your 5-day week, got you there. So when you're working, if you don't do a deal, sometimes you feel like you've lost a day. You might do 3 or 4 on a Saturday if it's really busy with a lot of clients and customers. So you're always on the go with something. And I would say that bit is really weird, that you can almost feel like you're doing nothing. And I've said many a times, or felt many a times, I don't actually know what I'm doing today. I don't know my point of my day. I have to call you. I don't know what I'm doing. But it's there because I mean it from a good place, because I'm there to help when needed. And then you'll get a phone call or reply to say, oh yeah, we want to do this, we want to do that, and all of a sudden, something happens. You have an offer fall through. It happened, with us several weeks ago. We had an offer and a situation fall through on a Saturday night that I'd been working on for several weeks. And then you start the Monday and you're like, right, we are completely at a blank here. We're starting again with all houses. And then by Wednesday, we'd sold the client another one, and it had happened. But if you'd have asked me on Monday where we're going and what we're doing, I wouldn't have known. You don't know where it's coming from.
And do you think that going back to the football side of things, dealing with the challenges of injuries and maybe not being in the team and then being in the team, and like, has that helped you with your mindset and how you approach? Because you will face in any industry here, and especially in sales, you face ups and downs almost on a daily basis, right? So have you felt that kind of, or have you leaned into it, or maybe you've just not thought too much?
My one with that, the connection, is the mental fatigue. That's what I think gets people, is the fact that you put so long in over such a long period of time, you just get tired to the point where you go, I don't want to do this anymore. People always mention about some of the best moments that you'll ever mention in football. It might be a Champions League final. It might be, Troy Deeney in the playoff final that everyone knows, like, you watch it and you just go, what a game of football that was. But you don't realise that they started the season in August. It was a year before they started that season. They didn't know that was coming for that one highlight. And you don't see that. And you're telling me that during winter they didn't lose and they weren't like, oh, we've dropped a few places. And you go through so many ups and downs. I think just the main similarity between an athlete and real estate is it's mentally so tiring, pretty much all the time. And then when you see something happening and you get a reward, you go, right, that's why we do it. And that feel good feeling for helping someone, you go, oh, that's a reminder, that's why we do it. Even people who do the Olympics, when you think about them, those people train immensely hard for a tournament every 4 years. It's such a demanding challenge to keep going mentally, whether it be training, and just being there at the right place at the right time. I know people say you've got to be there at the right place at the right time, but actually doing it mentally is so much harder, especially when you're on your own. And that's another thing that people don't mention about Dubai. It's a challenge when you come over and you're on your own. So to do nearly a year where I'm in a studio apartment, and it's difficult. There's no point in putting things on Instagram to show a beach club, or I don't like that anyway. If you didn't know, I just like golf, but it's not what people perceive, and that challenge is real.
There are challenges. Best bit of being involved in real estate, what would you say?
Me personally, I would say it's the flexibility now. To be able to have meetings, to be able to play on the golf course with people and get to know people. on a normal level, not a phone call level, is amazing. Yeah,
See,
I would
and
say so.
what I like about the answer is I probably knew you were going to say that. The reason I like it is because most people, not most people, but a lot of people in the industry would say money. They would say the financial rewards. I knew you wouldn't say that because that's not you. Yes, you want to do well as an individual and grow your own business and what you're doing, but that's not your attention, is it? Your attention is on helping people by doing it the right way, by building relationships, by being around. We're sat here in Jumeirah Golf Estates now at the golf club, and I know you've got a tea time soon, so I won't keep you too long. That's the focus, which naturally then has the impact and the effect on bringing you business and helping you to grow from a professional perspective as well. So while we touch on Jumeirah Golf Estates, so obviously you are a real estate specialist in the community of Jumeirah Golf Estates. Again, I'm very obsessed with this place, and I think you share that obsession to some extent. So what was it that attracted you to JGE and kind of gave you that urge to want to get involved more with your professional side of things?
There was a feeling. So as I say, when I first came here, they were playing a tournament in Dubai at Creek, so I knew that was on TV, so I had a little bit of exposure, but I didn't really know what it was. Obviously, your main two are Earth and then Majlis. Now, Majlis still, from a golfing point of view, still feels special when you can see the skylines and the signature holes because there's so many players. But because of the fact that I do love golf so much, it's not just because I've come to Dubai. I loved golf in the UK. Me and my best friend could watch the coverage when we're off together on a Thursday. We could watch it from 8 o'clock in the morning until it finished, not move, and then go out tonight or do whatever. And seeing players back in the day, I mean, I'm talking more like Westwood and Stenson and Alvaro Quiroz. I can still remember him winning here. And, that era was what I love golf. So when you came on the grounds here, and you knew you were playing the Earth course, it was so exciting. I actually don't think I slept the night before, and that is the truth. And then you came here, and just the staff, it just feels different. I don't know whether it's the clubhouse, the restaurants, the way that they're located, because it's like a central hub, and the actual members, it genuinely feels different. And that's why you say to people that it's got value that I can't tell you on the phone, or I can't show you a picture of this. You just need to come. And then when you come, you'll let this feeling, develop, and you'll feel what we feel. And it's just incredible. And I literally just, even the par 5 14th on the Earth course, hitting shots and start thinking the amount of moments that have happened there, rolls, going in the water, it was special. It was so good. Yes, I was, coming from the UK to play a course of this condition, I struggled, because it is that beautiful compared to what I'm used to, and it wasn't raining, but it was just unbelievable. And you got a feel for the community as well, and like seeing the properties and kind of having that feeling of this is somewhere that you want to operate on a daily basis. 100%. I mean, I actually asked to do the area, so I know that you get kind of put into an area when you first start in real estate, which happened for me as well. And then I actually went up to the upper management and said, look, I want to do this area. They all said no straight away. They said, don't do it. Because they were like, there's no way that someone within, the experience of 6 months should be doing an area like this, which just made me want to do it more, to be fair. And it was just a case of like, well, it's a case of I do this kind of area, or I just won't do it, to be honest with you. And I don't mean this the wrong way. I hope it doesn't come across the wrong way, but the area I was doing, I don't love real estate that much to stay doing that area. It was here, and it always has been. I think that comes down to your probably natural side of selling, which, you have to like or love as you do an area to be able to sell it, right? 100%,
we don't talk about selling the area because it kind of does it itself, but I know you have that passion almost, isn't it, that this is the place to be, and you almost can't see why nobody else would want to be here and live here, which when you're doing the job that you're doing is an ideal thing to have, right? I think the reason what makes it so different is it's easy, you could put if I mentioned the Palm, everyone would envisage a picture of one of the fonds overlooking the water, and it would be a picture, and then you'd be like, right, that's amazing, can I see myself living there? If you want to buy in the Palm, great. The difficulty with this, because it is that incredible, it's a lifestyle. It's unbelievable, but it's just getting that over to someone. There is no picture that can describe JGE. I can show you a nice house overlooking water. I can
show you a golf hole, I can show you whatever, but that's not it.
Yeah.
It's a feeling, it's families, it's different, it's special, and to have been involved in it, from what I've been involved in so far, to see and know people in such a short period of time that feel like friends, is absolutely incredible. To see families, to see people happy, there's nothing you can do to describe it. I will argue with anyone, whether they've been in Dubai 25 years or not. I will argue with any agent about why this is better than the area that they're doing. And
you recently, very proudly and well-deserved, became a member of the golf club, which, it's kind of strange to say, but it does seem like an achievement, right? Because there was a huge waiting list that you had to wait for. But, if we think back about the history to some extent of this golf club, because of the tournament and the community, and, there's a cost involved as well. And from coming out here and within the space of a year to be able to join a golf club like this, it is an achievement. And it's, it's one that you are proud of and should be. But how did it feel becoming a fully fledged member of Jumeirah Golf Estates?
It genuinely was like unbelievable. One of the sales directors that I used to work with at the old company actually commented on the LinkedIn post to say that he actually remembers me starting and it was a goal. And this was over a year ago. So as much as I have talked about how difficult real estate is, it can provide a life that you can't imagine. If I would have told you, getting on the plane this time next year, with how nerve-wracking it was to never have been really away from my mum and dad and spend a year in an apartment, but this time next year you'll be a member of JGE, it's incredible. I don't even want to open the box with I'm never using the pitchfork, I'm never using whatever, because for whatever happens in my life, I'm just going to show people, like, I was a member of Jumeirah Golf Estates, and I'm from Wigan.
You've been a member, 10 days, and you've played 764 times, so you've got your money's worth already, I think, haven't you?
They're all business meetings.
Of course,
The other people just haven't turned up. So I've invited the clients, they just haven't turned up, and I've just ended up playing on my own. Long may that continue, because it's great. But yeah, it just feels amazing, and you just feel part of something. Almost that you feel like you've no right to be a part of, and it's just amazing.
And you've got lots more to look forward to with kind of, I guess, your first tournament as a member is going to be coming up as well. So to be, not that you're playing, I don't think you'll be playing in this one, but with that coming up in November, to be around that and to see that from the members' perspective as well. And it's going to be an exciting few months for you as well.
Yeah, well, I mean, Kian spoke to me yesterday before the Thursday club, and he sort of said that I'd mentioned about if there's anything I want to do around the DP, and that there's a pro on the Tuesday, so there's opportunities to caddy. He said, can you send me a few names that you want to be with? And I was just sat there like, I can't believe that I'm being asked. Is there any names you actually want to help caddy with on a scale of a DP World Tour? Like, it is, honestly, it's just amazing.
So lots to look forward to. And from a professional side of things, what's next when you look at the next year, next 5 years in terms of your career here in Dubai and JGE?
To be perfectly honest with you, I think the relationships is just the one. I think because it takes time for people to genuinely trust, because the only thing I will say is I probably know quite a few people that at some point have been stung by someone or something doing something dishonest. And why would you not have your guard up? Why would you not be untrustworthy? So I get it. So I do think that you've got to be sensible and level-headed. And I do think that is going to take time with the mass people to be like, right, that, you can be trustworthy. And I absolutely respect that. In terms of further down the line, I do quite like being a manager. I did like helping people. And again, it wasn't telling people what to do. It was helping them with their problems, seeing it from another angle, supporting, training. So I haven't really looked into that, but I'd love that side of the role. And other than that, I'll have probably 3 or 4 more members' badges that I've got lined up, because I've still not used them for 2025, 6, 7, and
a few more games of golf over the next few years.
Let's hope I don't get injured or anything.
Okay, well, we're going to do a little quick fire.
Okay.
Here, so obviously quick. Earth course or fire course?
Earth.
What's the reason?
Why would you not? It's just unbelievable.
Castori or Basola?
Basola. It's a bit posher. You feel better.
Botter or Crafty?
Crafty.
very different, but you know.
Yeah, it's too healthy butter for me.
Lime Tree Valley or Flame Tree Ridge?
Lime Tree Valley.
Okay. Jumeirah Golf Estates 1, Jumeirah Golf Estates 2.
Jumeirah Golf Estates 1.
Any reason in particular?
I can only see it getting better.
Yeah.
Again, it's the community and the buggy lifestyle that needs to be, worked out in JGE 2. That's another part of here that you can't go.
Yeah.
It's just unbelievable.
Playing golf first thing in the morning or last thing in the afternoon, evening?
Great question. Playing golf first thing in the morning in Dubai. In the UK, it would be in the evening.
Okay. Because you can play till about 10 o'clock in the
summer's day. Yeah.
So you've probably done about 400 holes in the day. Yeah. Gym or swim?
Gym.
At the clubhouse at JG, of course.
Yeah,
Gym. Yeah.
Oh, good.
Who is going to win the race to Dubai this year on the Earth course at JG? Rory.
Right, yeah, 100%.
Yeah. Okay. Very confident there.
Yeah, 100%.
And then finally, Andrew or Andy?
Andrew.
Or
as we discussed this morning, Drew has popped up into the equation. I don't know where that's come from. Yeah, Andrew, please, yeah.
Okay, well, Andrew, it's been a pleasure. It's been great to hear a little bit more of your story. I'm sure there's been a lot of insight for the listeners, the thousands and thousands of them to take away. It's good to, obviously we know each other fairly well, and but it's good to kind of hear a little bit more in terms of the, where it all started and where you're going. You've had a great year out here, and I'm sure that's going to continue with lots more golf, lots more relationships and business. So. Yeah, thank you for joining us on the podcast.
Thanks,
and we wish you all the very best for the rest of the year and beyond. So,
thank you very
mate.
much. Let's see how these predictions come true.
Have a good day.
Cheers. Thank you.